I don't want to sound too much like a chauvinist, but when I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof.
And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
There was this about Jessica Leeds, who accused him of sexual assault.
Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
Look, we've known for decades now that Donald Trump and the Republican Party view women as nothing more than objects of desire who deserve to be subjugated by the men in their lives and the political agenda said men support. But Trump is a special type of creep.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop it. What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter. In a Rolling Stone article, yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married, and, her father.
Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
No matter how many times you see these clips, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And it's no secret that Trump's personality, rhetoric, and actions appeal far more to men than women. Which brings us to this new attack ad narrated by Julia Roberts showing two MAGA husbands and their wives at their polling location, with Roberts pointing out that the only place left where women truly have bodily autonomy is in the voting booth, reaffirming the fact that voting is a private, personal choice that should be free from intimidation, even from your own spouse. Thousands of Americans are living with this dynamic every day and will surely hit home with at least some of them, which is why right-wingers are reacting like this.
And if I found out Emma was going into the voting booth and pulling the lever for Harris, that's the same thing as having an affair. That, to me,
oh my God.
And then she said, I lied to you for the last 4 years.
So you admit you intimidate
It's over, Emma. That would be D-Day.
Are you sure that you want Jesse Waters, of all people, to deliver this message? Because you may remember this psychotic admission from 2 years ago.
When I was trying to get Emma to date me, first thing I did, let the air out of her tires. She couldn't go anywhere. She needed a lift. I said, hey, you need a lift? She hopped right in the car.
Does she know this story?
No, she doesn't know this story.
Does she watch your show?
The woman named Emma Waters is referring to in both of these clips is his current wife, Emma DeJovane, who he cheated on his now ex-wife and mother of two of his children with. If that wasn't bad enough already, DeJovane just so happened to be a producer on Waters' Fox News show when the affair began, prompting Fox execs to move her to a producer role with Laura Ingraham once Waters told them. This is the party of so-called family values. And speaking of family values,
I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating, where with her sweet husband, who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provide for the family. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands. And do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
It says so much about how you perceive women if your mind immediately goes to undermining their husbands about their decision to vote for the candidate of their choosing. But like we've been saying this whole time, none of this is surprising when you're hearing this out of the party's leadership.
High IQ individuals. I'm running against a low IQ individual. Her. I'm not even talking about him. Her. I got a low IQ individual. Kamala Harris, North Carolina will be an economic wasteland. That's what's going to happen. The rest of your companies are going to move out. Everybody knows that. The smart people know. She's the only one that doesn't know it. Low IQ. She's a low IQ individual. Kamala's a very low IQ person. She's a very low IQ. I'm for taking tests, too. I think anybody that runs for president they should give them tests. And it's not an age thing. It's not based. If you look back on history, 70s and 80s, some of your greatest leaders in the world history, long-time world history, they were in their 70s and their 80s. But I think you should take cognitive tests. I think they say it's unconstitutional. But that's ridiculous. I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her. Kamala Harris, a very low IQ individual, is running a campaign of hate, anger, and retribution. She spends all of her time complaining about everything, but does nothing about it.
It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support.
Calling Vice President Kamala Harris low IQ is definitely baked in racism, and that is a dog whistle if you ever will see one. A very loud dog whistle. Because it's a stereotype, right, about black people to reinforce white supremacy and how black people are stupid and dumb and ignorant, and that white people are above them and they are superior in all things. And the other thing that we have to talk about, it feels like Trump has seemingly abandoned his female base of support and has opted to really go all in on the bro side with the podcast appearances, influencer, celebrity endorsements, and policy platform. And I guess he's so convinced, and the party's so convinced, they will be able to get those bros who he's reaching out to convince their women, their wives, or significant others to vote for him. Because we saw it before. We saw white women vote for Trump in 2016, and look how that played out, even though he was still a raging misogynist and sexist then, and somebody who was found liable for sexual assault. Well, now he's been found liable for sexual assault. But again, there were many things where he demeaned women. Democrats have to take advantage of this by really driving home the point that, they do not care about your rights. They do not believe in your superpowers or your rights to act independently of a man. They don't think you should have control over your body or have control over what you do in the voting booth. That's how they need to do it, because otherwise you're going to miss out on some important voters. So Democrats, it's your turn to take the mantle and handle the job and get the job done when it comes to appealing to women, and specifically white women. Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.